Action.
We're making this film to show that how students think their lessons should be taught, so they can make their lessons better.
It's about getting the teachers to understand what the pupils want, and to sort out get communication between the pupil and teacher, get a stronger connection between them.
The most important thing a teacher should take away from the pupil's point of view is whether that method actually gets the lesson objectives across, and that whether the pupils have actually learnt what they were meant to learn by using that method of teaching.
Hello, my name's Adam Muffley and I'm camera assistant.
My name's Charlie Kelly and I was cameraman.
My name is AJ Gill and I was cameraman.
My name's David Goodman and I was the interviewer and the production assistant.
My name's Moya Ogunrinka and I was the sound man. I'm Ainsley Gordon Martin, interviewer, presenter and one of the script writers.
I'm Patrick Dale and my role is the producer-director.
I'm Adam Goodkin and I was the producer-director. I also helped write the script.
Before the proper filming could begin, we interviewed Dr. Sagar, the science teacher whose lesson we will be filming.
What do you hope to gain from this exercise?
I hope to gain from this exercise the fact that will the cameras that you'll be using be an aid for me within my classroom? Will I be able to use the information gained in the future?
What made you agree to participate in this project?
I'm actually a teacher who's only been teaching for 3 years, so I'm always looking for new ideas and ways to improve my teaching, and I thought that this would be a great way for me to actually evaluate my lessons and to see how I could improve my lessons in the near future.
How much say should pupils have in the way they are taught?
It's important because at the end of the day, they are the ones that are learning. They are the ones that want it to be challenging for them. And why it will help them is that if they have actually had an input to the lesson, they will find it more exciting for themselves.
Do you think people should tell teachers what they think of their lessons?
I think it's very important that pupils tell teachers what they think of their lessons. It firstly tells the teacher how their lesson is, how the lesson went, how they can improve the lesson, and it also tells the teacher how interested the pupils actually are with their lessons, and do they need to change their teaching style in the future to make their lessons more interesting for the pupils to learn.
Thank you, Dr. Sagar. With a local television company filming what we were doing, all of the filming of the lesson and the interviews with the science teacher and pupils was to be done entirely by us.
Good morning, 717. Today we're going to continue our theme with chemical reactions, okay? Today's lesson we're going to have a couple of objectives which I want you to concentrate on. Okay, now, by the end of this lesson you will firstly understand that different metals react with different acids in different ways. You will also learn which metals produce hydrogen gas when they react with acids. Now, the major theme of this lesson today is that I want you to concentrate on two components of practical work, and those are observation and analysis. So hopefully you'll develop your skills with observation and analysis as we go along throughout the lesson. Okay, can you now put your goggles on please and start the practical. See, now. Okay. What I want you to do is, now, put this in there and remember to keep your thumb tightly on top of the test tube.
So that we could get their views on the lesson, we spoke to some of the students. So what are you doing at the moment?
I was just putting nitric acid, you would have to do it copper cube.
Do you know what you're looking for to show if it's a positive result or things like that?
To see if it pops.
Right.
Gas was released. Not gas.
Do you prefer practical lessons or in theory lessons, and why?
Practical lessons, they're more fun.
Hydrochloric acid. No, that's nitric.
You know? Yep.
No, we're doing hydrochloric.
And as soon as you release your tongue, you're meant to have the splint ready and put it in so you get the gas, don't you?
What are you looking for exactly?
We're looking to see if it's hotter or colder.
If hydrogen is released or not.
And if it like changes colour.
So do you know why hydrogen is involved in the test tube?
I'm not sure.
Do you know what you're looking for in your experiment?
Yeah, if hydrogen was released, then it was a gas release.
And do you know why hydrogen would be released?
No, I'm not that sure.
Okay. Do you think Dr. Sagar should have explained that before you started?
Probably.
Why don't you ask Dr. Sagar? Would you ever think of asking Dr. Sagar that?
Yeah, but I forgot when I was there. I just realised.
Actually, number one. And number two, is it better when you put the splint in or the sideways?
When we put the splint in.
Yes, so you can comment on that in your analysis. I can explain to the rest of the class that you can only get a decent hydrogen test when you put the splint in. Yeah, when you put it directly in, otherwise it takes too long. Okay? Make sure you comment on that.
So can we ask you a question?
Yes.
None of your pupils seem to understand why hydrogen could be evolved. Do you think you should have explained that to them beforehand?
That will be explained towards the end of the lesson, why there is a chemical reaction. That will be in the plenary and the discussion part to actually say that a reaction has occurred and why do you think hydrogen is being produced? And they will say, because a chemical reaction has occurred and products are being formed. That's why. So I was leaving for the discussion point. Okay, you seven, you just got about 10 minutes to go on this practical.
That didn't work.
You got this, did you get the pot? Right. Now, that was a very interesting practical we just did there. Now, let's take the metal magnesium. Now, when magnesium reacted with hydrochloric acid, what did most people find? Mansoor?
Yes, hydrogen gas was released.
Hydrogen gas was released, and how did we know hydrogen gas was released? Sanjeev?
Because when we put the flame into the test tube, we made a little squeaky pop.
Squeaky pop, excellent. And why was Sunil's group finding it wasn't being released? Why do you think that was? Explain, please, Joshua.
Well, when I had my finger over the test tube, I felt some pressure coming up towards it, and he might have taken it off too early.
That's a wonderful word, that is, Joshua. Pressure. What is? Anyone know what pressure actually means? Go on then, Joshua.
Like a force pushing up.
Like a force. So I'm going to write that down in a key word. Pressure. Excellent.
We tried to see if acids always make hydrogen gas if we place some metal in there.
Some of the metals reacted with the acids by producing hydrogen gas, but some of them produced the gas, but not hydrogen.
Tested, the answer was yes, hydrogen was produced, except for what?
There's not much of a smell.
What did you think of Dr. Sagar's style of teaching?
He teaches very well, so we understand stuff.
So you think he helps you to understand what he's trying to teach better?
Yes.
Smell it. What? Is there a smell there, do you think?
But the way he explained everything to us was quite good, so we understood what the lesson was about. Yeah, it was good because he explained everything to us, what we had to do. It made it really clear.
Okay, Joshua, which one you got in there? Okay, keep your thumb on, keep it shaking. All right, keep your thumb on there. Now you've got it. As soon as you release your thumb, can you feel the build-up of pressure under there?
What did you think of Dr. Sagar's style of teaching?
I think it was okay because it was kind of interacting with the children, but I think in some areas it could have been better.
What areas were
Like
these?
sometimes with the fact that he didn't come around to all of us sometimes, and with the reading on the board.
Maybe go around and help people a little more.
Right, so you thought he could have gone round and helped you or
Yeah.
something like that?
Well, what I've done, instead of like one Bunsen burner to 2 tables, I'm going to put a Bunsen burner on just 1 table.
Why would you do that?
Because we had to get up and so we had to go and light it and come back. And in the meantime, probably some of the gas was being released.
Right.
So if it was on 1 table, we could just quickly got the Bunsen burner, took our finger off, and just.
So you think it would have helped the experiment go better?
I thought overall the lesson went quite well. The objectives were met. The practical was completed by most students, but I think a little bit more time was needed on the practical, and I tried to account for that. And that actually resulted in less assessment at the end of the lesson. But overall, I was very happy with the lesson, the way it went.
Do you think the pupils understood what you were teaching?
At the end, when I gave a plenary, the questions that I posed were the objectives were complete. They actually understood what the objectives were, what they were meant to have learned from the lesson, and they actually informed me of what they actually knew about the context of the lesson, and everything was satisfactory.
One of the students said that they could have done with more guidance from you when they were actually doing the practical. What is your reaction to that?
Well, I actually wanted them to work on their own and to see the pitfalls, because we were concentrating on observation and analysis. They need to find out, as chemists themselves, the importance of observation and analysis and the importance of actually reading instructions, because that is the most imperative component of a practical lesson, looking at the instructions yourself. If I'd actually gone through it with them at the beginning of the lesson, each stage, firstly, it'd take up too much time, and secondly, I think they wouldn't enjoy the practical because they'd have seen everything that had occurred.
How do you think this film will help with future lessons and lesson plans?
I'll be able to see how I can improve the practical aspect, how I can help the pupils more, and how I can actually plan my lessons so that the pupils get more out of the actual lesson itself.
Thank you.
Do you think that you, as a pupil, should tell the teacher things about the lesson, whether you thought it was good or not?
Yeah, because so then he knows that we've learned something. I think they should have a lot to say, because some people might find the teacher being really clear, others they might think the teacher's either going too fast. So
Right.
I think they should just probably put their hand up, say, sorry sir, I think you're going too fast. And I think if the teacher's nice enough, she'll probably slow down for him. If the children think the teacher may explain it properly, the teacher should know about it. For example, a teacher says something and we don't understand it, we can tell them to say it in a simple way.
It's important what the pupils think, not just their lesson plan. It's important what they think of their lesson, and that's how pupils can learn better.
Some students will be like reluctant to tell the camera what they really feel, because at the end of the day they might be scared that we'll show it to the teacher, and they won't really lose their inhibitions.
Now we've come to the end of our programme. We hope you enjoyed it and have been persuaded to listen to your students' opinions about teaching. Thanks for watching. Bye.